Hello everyone. For today, I will discuss solving absolute value equation. Let's begin with this illustration. Absolute value of 3 is 3. Absolute value of 2.5 is 2.5. Absolute value of negative 7 is 7. Absolute value of negative 4.8 is 4.8. Now, let me ask you, true or false? The absolute value of a number is always positive. Okay, if your answer is true, I can't blame you. Well, based from the illustration here, yeah, it's true, but the answer to the question is false. Why is that? Because the absolute value of 0 is 0. And as we all know, 0 is not a positive number or a negative number. So we can, replace that positive as non-negative. The absolute value of a number is always greater than 0 or greater than or equal to 0. So the absolute value of a number is non-negative and the absolute value of a number is either positive or 0. So these statements are basically the same. Now let's go to solving absolute value equations. Okay, absolute value of x rather is 5. We know that. And um, the numbers that we can substitute to x are 5 and negative 5, right? So therefore we have the same and opposite. There are two solutions. Absolute value of x is equal to negative 2. Do you have a solution for that? Absolutely no. So there will be no solution. So to summarize everything, the absolute value property indicates that if the absolute value of x is equal to a, where a is a variable or an expression, and a is greater than or equal to 0, then x is equal to a or x is equal to negative a. Now let's apply this absolute value property in solving equations, absolute value equations. But we need to remember these three steps. The first one is isolate the absolute value so that the equation is in the form of ax plus b is equal to absolute value of ax plus b is equal to c. Now remember, c must be less than 0 because, c must be greater than or equal to 0 because if c is less than 0, then therefore the equation has no solution. Separate the absolute value into two equations. So drop the absolute value bars, and we will be having ax plus b equals c, and then ax plus b equals negative c. And finally, solve both equations. Let's have these examples. Now, in this case, there's no need for us to do the first step, which is, isolate, because as we can see, this is already in the form of ax plus b. Absolute value of ax plus b equals 9, equals c. That is the first consideration, right? So the next step would be we will just separate the equation into two cases. Okay, so what's the difference? There are no absolute value bars anymore. On the left equation, that's the difference. On the right equation, there are no absolute value bars anymore. And here we have a negative 9. And then after we did that, we just need to solve both sides. Here, we add 3 on both sides. Cross that out. This will be equal to 12. So bring down 2x divided by 2 divided by 2. So therefore, x equals 6. So this is one of the two solutions. The next would be plus 3 on both sides. Cross that out. This will be equal to negative 6, right? And then divided by 2, divided by 2. Therefore, x equals negative 3. Okay, let's go to the next example. Yeah, so we do the two cases and then we solve. Okay, absolute value of negative 3x plus 1 is equal to 0. Again, there's no need for us to do the isolation. And then we will proceed to the two cases. But here, as you can see, this is 0. So that means there's only one case. Okay, and that is just drop the absolute value bars and then equate it to 0 and then solve. Because there's no negative 0. That's why you only have one case. minus 1 or subtract 1 on both sides, cross that out. And that will leave us negative 3x equals negative 1, and then divided by negative 3. Therefore, our x is equal to positive 1/3 because negative divided by negative is equal to positive. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, so here we have 2 times the absolute value of 4x minus 2. Here, we need to do this, the first step, which is isolate, meaning our equation, absolute value equation, should be in this form first. And obviously, it's not in that form because we have a 2 here. So we need to get rid of that. So to do that, we will divide both sides by that number, and that will give us a 4x minus 2 equals 5, right? And now we can do the 2 cases. So the 2 cases will be 4x minus 2 equals 5. Just drop the absolute value bars. And then the next will be 4x minus 2 equals negative 5. And then just solve these 2 equations separately. So we add 2 on both sides because that is minus 2. This will be equal to 7. So 4x equals 7 divided by 4. Therefore, x is equal to 7 over 4. On the right side, we have plus 2, cross that out. This will be negative 3. So 4x equals negative 3. We divide both sides by 4. Therefore, the answer is negative 3 over 4. Okay, so that's solving. Again, let me just recap what we did here. We divided 2 on both sides because we do not want a 2 there on the left side of that absolute value expression. So now we have 4x minus 2 equals 5. Since this is already in the form of ax plus b is equal to 0, okay, absolute value of ax plus b is equal to 0. That's the time we can separate this into 2 cases. So 4x minus 2 equals 5. 4x minus 2 equals negative 5. Add 2 on both sides. Cross out negative 2 and positive 2. 5 plus 2 is 7. And then finally divide by 4. On the right side, we add 2 on both sides. That would be negative 3 on the right. Bring down 4x. And then finally divided by 4 on both sides. That will give us x equals negative 3 over 4. Okay, let's go to the next one. I have a lot of examples here. Here, again, we will do the isolation because we have a 5 here. We want our absolute value equation to be in the form of ax plus the absolute value of ax plus b is equal to c. So, to eliminate that 5, what we will do is we can subtract 5 on both sides. Okay, so that will give us this absolute value equation. Obviously, that is in the form of a absolute value of ax plus b equals c. That is what we want to happen. Next is just separate this absolute value equation into 2 cases. So we have 3 minus 2x equals 4. And then 3 minus 3 minus 2x equals negative 4. And then solve, of course. Solve. So that's subtract 3 on both sides because that is positive. So negative 2x equals, that's 1. Both are they have different signs, both 4 and negative 3. So we subtract them. And then divided by negative 2. Therefore, x equals negative 1/2. Here, same, subtract 3 on both sides. Now both have the same signs, so we will add them. Our answer here is 7 over 2. Okay, let's go to the next example. Okay, here. Again, we will do the first step, which is isolation. We need to move this positive 12 or get rid of that. This will give us x plus 7, absolute value of x plus 7 equals -5. And here, we have a -5 on the right side, okay? Remember, if c is less than 0, which here, this is less than 0, that means there's no solution. Okay, there's no need for us to continue this one because this one has no solution at all. Let's go to the next one. So do not do that and that one. Okay, so here we have absolute value of 3x minus 4 times 2 minus 8 equals 4. Again, we need to transform the absolute value equation into this form, right? That's isolation. So that means we need to add 8. That's the first thing we will do. Okay, that's 12. Then next, divided by 2 on both sides. There you go. And that is what we want to happen. And then after that, we just need to create two cases. The first is the positive version. And then here is the negative version. And then just solve this separately. So plus 4, cross that out. This is 10. It's 3m equals 10 divided by 3. So our first m is 10 over 3. Next, plus 4 again. This is -2. Therefore, m equals -2/3. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so here we have this is like a complex problem, but this is easy. Okay, you can do this. Okay, first we need to isolate, or meaning we need to transform the given absolute value equation into the form of ax plus b equals 0. Absolute value of ax plus b equals 0. So the first thing that we need to do here is subtract 1 on both sides. This will give us this. Okay, sorry. So 3x plus 2 over 3 equals 4. Next, multiply whatever in the denominator is, multiply on both sides. So this is 3. Why? Because the denominator is 3. So cross that out. When you cross out the 3, there's no need for you to multiply that 3 to 4. So that means you will just keep that 4 there. And then finally, divided by 12. Divided by 12, divided by 4. Okay, that is what we want to happen. Okay, so now we can have two cases and then solve. So two cases will be 3x plus 2 equals 3. 3x plus 2 equals -3. So subtract 2 on both sides. This will be 1. Okay. 3 plus -2 is +1. They have different signs. So you will subtract them. So x equals 1/3. Next, again, subtract 2 on both sides. They have the same signs. Negative 3 minus 2, we will consider 2 as negative. So it's the same as negative 3 plus negative 2, and that is negative 5. And then finally, divided by 3 on both sides, and that will give us negative 5 over 3. Okay, that's example number 7. Okay, let's go to the next one. Let's see. Here we have two absolute value expressions on both sides of the equation. So it's already, obviously it's not in this form, right? I know. Let me just erase that. I know, it's not in this form, right? But it's this absolute value equation is in this form, right? So meaning we can just separate this into two cases, and that would be just drop the absolute value bars. Then the second would be 2w plus 4 equals 3w minus 2, and then you need to enclose that into a parenthesis, and there should be a negative sign there. Okay, and then after that, just solve this individually. So what we can do here is we can first subtract 4 on both sides. So that will leave us with 2w equals 3w minus 6. Both are negative, so we will add them. Next is subtract 3w on both sides. They have different signs, so you will subtract them. And then finally divided by negative 1 because we want the w to be positive. The answer is positive 6. Here on the right side, okay. On the right side, we have 2w plus 4 equals, we will distribute that negative to both 3w and negative 2. So this will be negative 3w plus 2, right? And then subtract 4 again. So we have 2w equals negative 3w minus 2 because they have different signs. Then finally, now second to the last step, plus 3w on both sides, cross that out. This will be 5w equals negative 2. And then finally, divided by 5 on both sides, therefore w equals negative 2 over 5. Okay, I think I have another one. This is the last example, I think. The next one here. Let's try this one. Create two cases, right? The first thing we will do, and then just solve. So the first case is 2x minus 9 equals 3 minus 2x. And then the next case will be 2x minus 9 equals 3 minus 2x. Okay, gotta enclose that into a parenthesis and just put a negative sign outside on the left side of that. First step, plus 9 on both sides. This is 12 minus 2x, 2x on the right side. Next is we need to combine the terms with the variables. So plus 2x, cross that out. This will be 12. 4w equals 12. Then finally divided by 4. X equals 3. Okay, let's answer the next one. So distribute that negative sign to both 3 and negative 2x. Okay, now add 9. Okay, this will be equal to 6 plus 2x, 2x. Okay. Next is the terms with variable. So we will subtract 2x on both sides. Oh, that will be equal to 0. And 0 is not equal to 6. Therefore, that means we only have one answer to this one. One solution, one value of x. Oh, okay. Thank you for watching.